Hello and welcome to Tech24 with me, Rebecca Bowring. Coming up in the programme, from Harvard dorm room to public company, Facebook makes its Wall Street debut. But the social network shares underwhelm investors and the pressure is on to boost sales. We'll look at the impact on privacy and profits from one of tech's biggest IPOs. Need to slim down and shape up? Get a personal trainer for your pocket. This wireless pedometer tracks exercise, sleep and calories. Can Fitbit change the habits of a lifetime? Olander will tell us in Test 24. First, it's been a high-octane week for the hoodie-wearing Facebook founder. Mark Zuckerberg turned 28, married his Harvard sweetheart in a surprise wedding, and became the 23rd richest man on Earth when Facebook finally floated on the New York Stock Exchange. The 8-year-old social network is valued at $104 billion, more than Amazon, Disney, Ford or Bowring. But at the end of a roller coaster day of trading, its shares were worth almost exactly what they were at the start. Olander is here. I've noticed quite a lot of schadenfreude on the internet about this IPO. People saying it was a failure for Facebook.
Oh, God, aren't you sick of talking about Facebook? Aren't we just sick of hearing about Mark Zuckerberg and his billions of dollars? Well, the reason why we're talking about this is because we're fascinated by it. We're fascinated by this product and this service that we connect with multiple times throughout a day. We're fascinated by where it's going and what it says about our culture, our society, and even our politics. So the hype, it did not meet the hype. The question is, did they actually get what they wanted out of it? Yeah, absolutely. They raised a lot of money for their company. They met the target price. The fact that it didn't go through the roof doesn't mean it was a failure.
Certainly. So now they've got more cash to develop their business model, which is something that needs a little bit of work. Let's talk about how Facebook can monetize mobile, something that Robert Scoble told me a couple of days ago they will definitely succeed in doing. Now, how can they use their data to make more cash?
Well, Robert Scoble is kind of a tech geek out of the Silicon Valley who really is what I would call a propagandist for the Valley and says the Valley can do nothing wrong. I'm a little more skeptical than someone like Robert Scoble. Here's the big problem facing Facebook. Number one, 50% of all new internet users are coming online through mobile devices. They don't have a monetization plan on mobile, something we've talked about for weeks and weeks to ad nauseum. Secondly, the fact, and this is to me the biggest challenge about Facebook, the fact is that in most of the key social networking markets around the world, they are not the dominant player. Let's take a look at Russia. They're number 3. They're not going to be in China ever. Number 3 in Japan, number 3 in South Korea, and number 3 in Vietnam. That's where they have to make some advances if they're going to grow past the 900 million. Also, this number 900 million that we've been talking about, that's not an active 900 million. There are a lot of phantom accounts in that.
People log in once a month.
And people also have multiple accounts. So, you know, that true number may not be quite as high.
So there is this concern that perhaps the growth in new users is slowing. What about our personal data, though? Now, bearing in mind that Facebook is more transparent because they have to release information about the amount of money they make. That's good for transparency, but pressure is on from investors to increase sales, surely. So does that mean that perhaps profits will be privileged over privacy?
Well, here's the thing, is that a lot of us look at Facebook as a social networking advertising platform. Really, what they are is they're selling the data that goes with the advertising. There's lots of things they can do with that data. One, they can put an ad up. They can also package that data up and sell it to different companies to do lots of different things with it. That's what scares a lot of people, particularly here in Europe. The European Commission is looking at tightening privacy laws. If those privacy laws tighten to the point where Facebook can't monetize that data, that's another reason why this stock in the long term probably will not do very well.
Let's just briefly talk about the new social network on the block. This is Microsoft's offering. It's called Social, so.cl. Who is it competing with?
Well, not really anybody. Social, as it's a weird way of saying it, is a new product from Microsoft that really came out of the academic universe. And really what it is, it's collaborative sharing for students. So it's not a traditional social network like Google Plus or Facebook or even Pinterest. So it's something in its own category. But this yet represents another challenge for Facebook in the fact that it really is death by 1,000 cuts. As we're spending time on Instagram, on Pinterest, on Google Plus, it's just that much less time that we're spending on Facebook. Really, at the end of the day, people can innovate all they want. The one thing we can't change, there's still just 24 hours left in a day.
I bet you would change it if you could, Olander. Do stay with us here on Tech24. We're talking a different kind of tracking that will do you good in Test 24 next. Let's face it, getting fit is difficult. You need to watch your calorie intake, do regular exercise and make sure you sleep properly. It's like a full-time job. But what if you had a gadget that could track all of that for you? Enter the Fitbit, a wireless pedometer that monitors your activities and sends data to the cloud. Eric's been testing it out for us. Have you lost a couple of pounds since the last time I saw you?
Well, I have, in fact. Thank you for asking. And I don't know if I can credit it to yet the smallest gadget that we've ever reviewed here on Tech24. This is, of course, the Fitbit. What I like most about it is the fact that on most pedometers, and of course the pedometer is what you use to measure how many steps you take during a day, the clips fall off. Yet on this, it's nice and secure. So that's one very basic design function that I think works extremely well.
I hear, Eric, you can even attach it to your bra.
You can, my bra?
One's bra.
One's bra, fair enough. So then what you can do is you can attach it to any clothing item you choose. But what you do is it collects all sorts of data, not only on your activity, but also on your sleep. There's a little wristband that you have, and if you're moving around or not, I don't really know how much use that has in terms of whether or not it's going to make you healthier or not, but it can determine how much, in fact, you are sleeping.
It's good for sleep-deprived journalists.
It is very good for us. And then what you do is you take this kind of awkward-looking cable. Surprising that a little beautiful device like this doesn't have a Bluetooth in it, considering all the earpieces that come with Bluetooth. But this clunky kind of old-world cable, you plug it into your computer, and then all of a sudden it puts it into a software. Let's talk about some shortcomings with this. This is an American product. As such, with an American product, it doesn't use the metric system. So I don't know.
So it is pounds and ounces.
It's pounds and ounces. So I don't know how many French people, Europeans, Africans, pretty much everybody outside of the Americans will find this useful. Secondly, it is not waterproof, and it would have been nice to be able to make one so you can go swimming and you can use it in water activities as well. $99 available online.
Oh, 99 euros, I think.
99 euros, $99.
Well, who is going to buy this, though? Because, I mean, it's cheaper than a gym membership, but if you've got a pedometer already, for instance, in your iPod Nano, do you think you would shell out that amount of money?
I would, only because the iPods are not, the devices, they're quite basic, they're not as accurate, and the run-keepered apps on your phones, and we're talking a lot about on Tech24 over the past couple of months, health technology, and you're really seeing some nice advances. This is a nice little elegant device.
And it helps us to keep tabs on our own health, doesn't it?
It does, and it also just is a constant reminder to you about doing things and being active, whereas if it's on your iPhone, you know, you open up the Facebook app, you open up your Pinterest, you open up all the other apps and you forget about it. This here is always clipped to your shorts or to your bra, whatever you want to do with it.
Whichever tickles your fancy. Thank you so much, Eric Olander, for all of that. Thank you to you for watching Tech24. Do catch up with us on the social network. The URL will be coming up in the corner of your screen. And please remember to follow us on Twitter. We go full circle this week, ending the show with an all-singing, all-dancing tribute to Facebook Timeline. Collective Cadenza, an experimental music video group, retells the story of Mark Zuckerberg through extracts from musicals. See you next week.
Bet your bottom dollar you'll be stalked in your timeline by your future employer.
Scene number 11, the IPO.
Now he is a rich man, Marky Mark.